The escalating violence in Syria is casting a lot of doubt over the so-called cessation of hostilities agreement, which is due to go into effect on Friday. So too a defiant Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, who has played down the chances the deal will actually succeed. Edward Djerejian is a former U.S. ambassador to Syria and Israel. He's also the director of public policy at Rice University. He joins us now from Houston. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being with us. Does it look like the groundwork is being laid for this nationwide hostility, cessation of hostility, or is this sort of a last-minute frenzy? We often see this, trying to deliver the biggest blow before there's a timeout.
I think establishing a ceasefire is highly problematic under the current circumstances. I wouldn't even call it a cessation of hostilities. I think what we have now are talks about a truce that could lead to a ceasefire, but the political agendas of the parties are so disparate and even conflicting that I'm highly skeptical that an effective ceasefire on the ground can be achieved.
We've had this report now from Médecins Sans Frontières. They say one of their hospitals was hit by 4 missiles in just minutes. They believe it was not an accident. They believe it was a deliberate act. Does that fit in with a pattern here, systemic attacks on Syria's healthcare facilities?
Well, yes, it does, because we've seen this in the past, and health facilities, Médecins Sans Frontières, have been targeted to see who did it, but frankly, given the past behavior, past actions, I just don't buy that.
So we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. We appreciate you speaking with us tonight.
You're very welcome.
Well, the humanitarian need is urgent, and although most parties have agreed in principle to allow aid into besieged areas in Syria, ISIS has not. The UN is considering airdrops of food and medical supplies. Frederick Pleitgen visited a UN distribution center outside Damascus, where the World Food Programme is ramping up its relief effort.
These images shocked the world. People starving in the besieged Syrian town of Madaya. Aid groups say dozens have succumbed to hunger in the winter months.
This child here is very ill. He eats leaves, tree leaves, and he gets sick and ill in his stomach. His stomach is really, really hurt him. He needs immediately go to hospital outside in Madaya.
World powers have started an urgent push to get aid to those most in need. At this UN distribution center outside Damascus, the World Food Programme is gearing up to escalate its relief effort.
As you can see,
Hussam Al-Saleh shows me the facility.
We receive the commodities in large quantities, and we package it into small individual portions. Each portion is enough to feed 5 people for 1 month.
But while the World Food Programme is working to get its aid ready, the problem is many of the warring parties in Syria are not willing to allow relief goods to be delivered. The UN has accused the Syrian government, many rebel groups, and ISIS of using the denial of food and medicine as a weapon. The World Food Programme says it could get to places like Madaya quickly if it's allowed. Workers are